We're now together the directors of the International Kava Organization. And we want to spend a little time to let you know a little about us individually and personally, so you can understand that we're not a faceless name on the internet. We're putting our heart and soul and personalities and all we are into what goes into the International Kava Organization. And I guess I'll start. My name is Jimmy Price. I've been doing Kava related media, social media, moderation, creation for the past 12 years. I've been drinking Kava for about 20. I drink Kava every single day. I would drink about 40 grams made traditionally every day. It's my sleeping pill that helps me not only sleep, but also helps me the next day have less anxiety and just be a easier going guy the next day. I got into Kava 20 years ago, and it has changed my life drastically. I got into Kava after about 20 years ago, gotten out of rehab. I decided that, to change my life, get better off from drugs, opioids specifically. I don't remember, there's some part during my recovery, I decided that, man, my anxiety levels are still extremely high. I thought part of that was just getting off the drugs. I realized that you're going to experience withdrawal anxiety for quite a bit of time. And after 6, 8, 9 months, I was like, okay, I think I have a baseline anxiety in my life that I haven't addressed. And so I looked for natural sort of solutions for that. And that's where I came across Kava. It came to me in a pill, and it was supposed to help relieve those symptoms and help me sleep. And it did. It actually did. It helped. And that's where I got the curiosity, like, what is Kava? Where does this come from? And it kind of led me down the path to discovering powdered Kava. And it truly has been a great experience in terms of what Kava has connected us to, the people that have come into our lives through this plant. We just want to give back. We want to help. We want this industry to thrive and to be as respectful and to be as positive towards the image of Kava as possible. And that's why we're here. So I come from nothing related to Kava. I come from restaurant refrigeration. Family and business have been in it for years. And Kava has been my absolute passion. It's what led me to this point. And I hope that we can be a valuable asset to your business and whatever your aims are, to either whether that's to figure out GMP, HACCP, or to set up a specific type of processing equipment. We want to be able to help you do that and be able to guide you through the process and connect you with the people that you need to get with. But that's sort of my wrapped up version of who I am and where I come from. I've been on Kava Forums. Kava Forums has been one of my websites for 12 years. I've moderated for our Kava for several years, and I've also moderated for the Kavasseur's Facebook group for several years as well. So I've kind of had a front row seat to seeing what's going on in terms of I guess, the airs of the industry, what's going down in terms of how people are reacting to certain products. That sort of stuff comes to us first because we see those product reviews or those complaints come to us. So over the years, we've truly kept an eye on the temperature of this industry, so to speak. And we wish to truly put our skills that we've developed over the years to use for those in this industry to help. So that's me. I'll be available through my email address. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
So my name is Fabio Cruz. I'm one of the directors of International Kava Organization. I have a different background. I'm originally from Brazil. I moved here when I was 12 years old in 87. And I had an interesting childhood. I think a lot of people can probably relate to a certain extent, in the sense that for me, it was a lot of changes, a lot of commotion, even though I had great loving parents, very stressful growing up for me. And of course, with this transition that I made to the United States when I was 12, it was a complete transition for me altogether because I didn't speak English when I moved here. So everything was brand new for me. I think that, along with some other bad habits that I developed throughout my life, like Jim even mentioned, that I believe I have a past as well with drugs and alcohol. And I think it was around 2014 for me when I decided to quit drinking. And it had nothing to do with Kava at that point in my life. But, it became apparent for me that I'm like, that's enough. I can't handle this. And it was about a year later in doing research into finding something that I thought could try to help me with my anxiety as well, because I mean, it wasn't even related to alcohol at that point, but it was more my everyday life. And I came across Kava, and I was so happy when I found it. And then the more I read about it, I was like, wow, this is, has potential. I was excited, and very much like James, I think I started with Gaia pills or whatever it was at the time. Yeah, I think that's what it was, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know there was a Kava Forums yet. And I started down that journey. I think I found Kava Forums within the first 2 weeks of those pills. That was my introduction, if you will. And I fell in love with it. I remember distinctly that feeling the first time to this day. And it's just never ceases. But I think had to take like 20 pills. It was not the right way to do it. But for sure, to this day, it resonates with me, because it was such an instant relief. It was like as if everything just melted, all that stress and all that little voice in my head that wouldn't shut the hell up. I finally saw it for the potential, and I didn't even really know the fascinating me. It became more apparent as the years went by how much is lacking, right? How much, whether it be legislation, whether it be any sort of group that truly is committed to helping people, to helping organizations, to helping the individuals, to pointing people in the right direction. And I think that's where IKO was born. And it was born from a long time ago. It was born on this concept, based on this idea that we could do something. That's how Kava Forums was formed, a little bit before my time, but not too much, right, Jimmy? International Kava Organization was founded with those same principles, where we're trying to unite everybody, because it's the only way we're going to be able to move forward and succeed and be able to change legislation, whether it be labeling kava as a food, which is something we've been trying to do forever. It's an uphill battle, so there's a lot of things we need to do. And I do believe that we can help the kava community. I do believe, whether it be a kava bar, whether it be somebody that's more established or somebody that's starting out, I think that united in that sense, we can really achieve great things. I really believe that. And that's what started this whole thing for us, I think. Yeah, I think we've been talking about this for about 8 years, so I'm glad to see that here we are finally. And
Thanks.
that's my intro.
Nice.
That's what I'm drinking
My
here.
name is Douglas LaRose. I'm currently being held against my will.
Blink twice if you need help.
I almost put that kava out, Doug.
Hi, my name is Douglas LaRose, also known as the Kavasseur. I have been drinking kava for about 22 or 23 years now. It's kind of hard to keep track. I, like Jimmy and like Fabio, I discovered kava in a different form than it exists now, although not too different. I also struggled from a very kind of baseline anxiety in my life when I was a late teenager, young adult in community college. I was working at a health food store in San Diego, California, where I'm from. I tried a bunch of different stuff that was in the herbal, the herbal remedies section of the natural foods supermarket. And one day somebody recommended Kava King, which was a small tin, like a boxy tin looking thing. It looked like something from like the 50s or 60s when you looked at it, with like the tiki kind of iconography on it. And even at that time, people were telling me that, oh, this stuff, you got to be careful because there's rumors that it causes liver damage. But nonetheless, I kind of moved forward with Kava King. The first time I tried it, I just mixed it with some water, like you do with any other instant kava. I immediately felt the effects. I know that the narrative out there is that there's this reverse tolerance, but I do feel like people can feel kava the first time they drink it. For me, I'm very sensitive to substances, so it really hit me right away. And I immediately fell in love with it. But I didn't really have access to good kava until about 10 years later. Between that time, the early 2000s, like pre 9/11, up until 2008, I just drank Kava King and then Yogi tea, the kava stress relief. That was the only way that I had access to kava. I never tried the pills, or I might have tried them once or twice, but not gotten anything from them. So I just stuck with the Kava King. In terms of my background, it ties heavily into what my vision is within the International Kava Organization. I work in the field of humanitarian aid and international development. And I've done some work in the South Pacific, in the Solomon Islands, on tsunami disaster risk reduction and indigenous knowledge. That component of kava is really fascinating to me. the countries, Fiji, Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea, Tonga, Samoa, the different country, and of course Hawaii, part of the United States. The culture, the traditions of growing kava, and the communities that grow it, and their development are really interesting and important to me. And I've always looked for opportunities to try to connect with those communities to see how I can help them. And the International Kava Organization is one of those things that I think can really be a conduit for the kava community, giving back and working with kava growing communities, and can be a nexus for people who want to support those communities when cyclones hit or when there's earthquakes. That's the kind of thing that got me excited about joining this. On top of the things that Jimmy and Fabio talked about, I really think that a lot of work needs to be done to protect the image of kava, to protect the reputation of kava, to disassociate kava from other substances that are sold even at kava bars, because kava is safe. Kava is something that saves people's lives, and it needs to be respected. The indigenous people that engineered kava, their creation needs to be respected, and we need to drink it with the utmost respect. And I feel like the International Kava Organization can really be a cheerleader for that respect that kava deserves.
Amen.
Yeah,